I feel pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, I like that. It's good. You've had that salmon diet finally kicking in. Everything working
I
out.
had I had some good salmon last night.
Nice, dude.
I
So,
did. It's a true story. It's yeah, man.
do you
I'm
like
on that
almonds
health
yet?
binge.
All right. Well, excellent. We are live. I'm sure by now. Dietary talk aside, this is from A to B, presented to you by Awesomemo.com. This is our Friday edition, which is the main slate preview for Sunday of the NFL. By the way, good day, everyone. Good day, Ben. I'm Andrew. Ben, what's going on with you, bud?
None. Happy Friday. We're at it's the holiday season. Fun
Hmm.
time of the year, man. Exciting. Yeah, no, I'm feeling good. Just did the betting show with Jason Roslin. A lot of fun there. And now we got a 12 gamer to break down. Week 16.
We do. Should be a good time. We did record a Three Fellas Talking Football. We usually have done that on Thursday night, just sort of housekeeping thing. We usually do that on Thursday night, previewing the Thursday night game, so kind of leading up to the lock. There was no Thursday night game yet last night, so we have recorded one that is going to be a Saturday main slate breakdown. Main slate, the Saturday two gamer. Myself, my esteemed colleague Benjamin Razzo over here, and also number one fella Dave Lochran. That will be coming. That will be posted later today. I at one point say, "Excuse me, chat. I'm sorry if we're not responding to your questions," and you two just looked at me like I was trying to warn the chat that we had pre-recorded this, so we were not noticing them. And you guys are like, "Well, there's not a chat when there's no." I'm
It
like,
it
"Oh yeah."
was. I'll say this honestly. I love that show, but I think that was our best show of the year. It was super. We got into some really good strategy concepts. There was also a couple hilarious things. I had to leave the show at one point to answer the door. Someone was trying to deliver Chinese food to me, even though I didn't order it.
Yeah.
A lot of wacky stuff in that show, so it's a good one to kind of catch up on tomorrow.
Laffy was not watching the video of. He could not see the other two of us when that happened, so he didn't realize you had left. I saw you leave. He asked you a question, and I answered it for you, trying to cover. And he got kind of pissy with me, thinking I had like interrupted it. Uh,
Stole my thunder.
yeah, there was some good stuff in there. It
It
was
was good. What's up, Badger? What's up, man? How you doing today? Got some people in the chat. Um, yeah, are you? We dealt with the two game. What do you think about the 12 game?
it's an all right one. I mean, these are
Yeah.
kind of some uglier games. I feel like this is more your style. There's a couple like really good ones, but I mean, mainly New Orleans Pittsburgh is like an actually important game that's actually has some fantasy ness to it. So kind of like that one. KC Seattle's like the most fun game of the week, but that's Sunday night. But that's also good. We can get a little showdown action happening for it. But I don't know. It's we are starting a couple minutes early so we can get out of the way. On the contrary, with Spags and our boss Osmo and the well-known. I was going to say esteemed again. Evan Silva, one of the best. I don't know, guy whose column I read every week. Classic NFL info guy. They're starting at 3:30, so we want to get out of their way. So let's get right into it. Uh,
Let's do it.
yeah, man. You got quarterback takes?
Yeah, it's weird. Obviously, we're gonna get to Big Ben because I want to hear your thoughts on him. I actually jumped down to the next range with two different types of guys. I think Andrew Luck is in a great bounce back spot. They need the game. They're inside the dome at home. The Giants. I don't really worry about the opponent anyway. Uh, and Luck hasn't had to do much. I'm not saying he will here, but even in blowouts, it's not going to be like it was last week. That was just an outlier in terms of the workload for him. So I think he gets right back to it. And then I'll just give one more and pass it to you. I never play this guy, but it's about time I probably should. Mitchell Trubisky.
Oh, nice.
Um, yeah, the Niners are playing really well, but I almost think that helps him. He can scramble. We've seen the mega upside. The floor is very low, not a cash consideration for me. But I do think that the Niners give them quite a game, and the Bears are going to have to put up points. It's not going to be just the Bears defense, in my opinion. Holding him 13-6. I think if the Bears win that game, it's because Trubisky kind of takes that offense to a different level.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, there's not a lot of guys that are capable of chasing him down on the defensive line or anywhere in the front seven on San Francisco anyway. So if he even gets into trouble, pretty nice. He has some nice outs there. Uh, Guys that stood out to me at first, as usual, Aaron Rodgers week. I was off him a little bit earlier in the year, but kind of fully back. I think he's fine. I'm a little scared of him potentially getting beat. I don't think he's got, he's not going to score 37. But so you're looking for it to be kind of an uglier week. But so I'm a little scared of him getting passed by one of those guys. But, on the road in New York, I don't think they'll just walk all over him. So I think he'll have to make some plays. I like the way he fits with his options from a salary perspective. So, and we'll get into them a little more. This is more of a position by position show, but occasionally we'll talk about stacks. So, do like Aaron Rodgers a lot. Agree with you on Luck, and then I don't know, two others. Baker, I think your boy, kind of buying in on this week.
What do you think about that game in general? Bengals on the road, they're sizable underdog. Do you think the Browns can control it on the ground, or you like Baker?
I mean, I like Chubb more, but
okay,
we'll get to that in the next position. But I think Baker makes for a reasonable option this week. And then I kind of like Jameis. I also really, again, will like the Cowboys defense, which we'll get to. But I think Jameis is going to have to throw a ton, and just war of attrition volume style. I think he's going to get there. And he's going to be far less popular than his counterpoint in the game, who neither of us have even touched on yet. But you got Dak thoughts? I think he's going to be the overwhelming chalk.
Yeah, I get it. Honestly, though, I would rather roll the dice on either the Trubisky's of the world, who I think just have a gear that he doesn't, or someone like Luck, even Rodgers. I like the Jets in that game, but we've talked about a lot. That actually, in my opinion, might help Rodgers. I expect the Jets to play well at home. Dak, the problem with that game, and I think we're kind of saying the same thing, is the Cowboys might just, there's a real chance that Dak doesn't have to do anything except manage the game, which is what they want him to do. And it's 27-13 in full control. Zeke does his thing. The defense does his thing. Cash, I kind of get it, but I'm probably not going to go there too much in tournaments.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm with you there. I haven't built a cash lineup yet. If Dak works as the last piece, it's possible, but I'm almost definitely playing Zeke in cash anyway, so I may just have a
onslaught.
Just pray and no, not an onslaught. I just pray that Dak doesn't do anything weak coming up.
See, I'm not that worried about it, to be honest. Can you rush one in? Of course, that's the killer. But if he doesn't, I don't think we see, because I expect the Cowboys. It's funny, and I've heard some people say this, not even in the industry, just in life, on the radio. If the Cowboys would have just lost last week, honestly, I think the Bucs could be sneaky here and give them a game. The way they lost, though, there's just no chance they overlook this game. I think they come out even more focused than they would. It's just a terrible spot for Tampa. I think it could get pretty ugly, and that really hurts Dak.
Yeah, I think that's true as well. Second, the first, probably the most aggressive, just 0% full fade I made all year was Amari Cooper last week.
Yep, me too. Just 0.
Yep. Probably doing it again this week. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I may have a couple Cowboys onslaughts just to cover my ass. I'm more interested in it this week than I was last week, but
I'm right with you. Before we jump on it, you have any interest in I'm just thinking Tom Brady sub 6K, no one's going to be on him. They are at home, and if there's one thing the Patriots are still doing, it's just dominating at home.
Right.
I'm more interested than I have been. I wasn't on him last week, and I know the masses were. I think it'll be an afterthought this week against a somewhat scrappy Bills team.
Yeah. No, I think that's a reasonable one. I don't mind Brady. Again, these are more guys that don't rate out particularly well, but I like as full-on team, playing 2 or even 3 weapons with them. It's Brady, Goff, and Kirk Cousins, I think, are all reasonable. There's significant issues potentially with all of them. But, if their offenses are forced to do a lot as a whole, I like that a lot.
No, I'm with you.
Good question. Badger and Boardema fan. Who does Gordon gone affect the most? Bummer about Josh Gordon, but I think directly it's going to be it's more the offense as a whole, because what's going to happen is they're going to slide in Hogan and Cordarrelle Patterson as the sort of, Z receiver, like floor stretcher types, and they're not going to be as good at it. So,
yeah, I mean, you've made this comparison before, and I think it's super apt. Just think of, in the NBA world, like if you have a guy in the corner that you cannot leave, that stretches it more than a guy that it's not that you're going to leave him completely. Now you're looking at him, but you can slouch in a little bit more, and that's what it is. Josh Gordon, true vertical threat. That hurts everyone now that the safeties and whatnot can roll the Gronk a little more. They can push up on Edelman a little more.
Yeah, definitely. There were a couple games earlier in the year when it was watching the Rockets get pummeled. It was like, how did that happen? It's like, oh, Michael Carter-Williams is standing in the corner instead of Trevor Ariza. So Michael Carter-Williams' man is right up on Harden's drive after the pick and roll. So it
makes quite a difference.
Sure does. And that's more what Gordon will do. Hogan and Cordarrelle Patterson are just not as effective at that. They might get a few more targets, sure, but I think it stays mostly still. The guys I'm interested in are like White, Gronk, and Edelman, mostly.
Yep. I think James, we're going to get there, but...
Yeah. Burkhead, too. Like, he played a lot last week. In both facets of the game. He is the guy that can run and catch. Like, Michelle is only run, yep. White is only catch. White will play like, White may get more slot snaps at like receiver, but I think Burkhead makes for an interesting, like White and Burkhead is not, no one wants to play Brady anyway, but you also like go a second way by playing like White and Burkhead with him. You're going to get a real unique team if it happens to go off.
Interesting. Yeah, I like I said, I'm a little higher. News like that, people have soured on the Patriots a lot, and whatever, it doesn't matter. The point is, I think in this spot, it wouldn't stun me for them to put out a real good effort at home this week, and Brady could be involved.
Yep, I think that is true. All right, cool. That's a good segue into running back, which is headlined by Zeke, who is a clear number one for me.
Really is.
Yep. Saquon Barkley's right there. Not in dollars, not in points. You've got Saquon, you've got Todd Gurley, and you've got probably severely impacted Christian McCaffrey as your other expensive dudes. You got takes on them?
Yeah, Zeke is, for me in cash, it's not even close. You just play Zeke. In tournaments, you can always you want exposure to these guys because they're all still electric. But honestly, Zeke, even in tournaments, he's going to be really popular. But it just feels like, honestly, a floor. I'm not saying this. There's some hyperbole here, but 25 seems like he is just going to get his in this spot. It seems almost a foregone conclusion. He finds the end zone. And if he does that, it's hard for him to really bust.
And if you're not playing Zeke, the Amari Cooper fade becomes a hell of a lot scarier because you're going to need two things to go really bad.
Yeah. We did have, before we dive into this, a friend of the show asked, I heard once you reach a certain level of profit, you can't play small entry fees anymore in DraftKings. So it's not profit, it's entry fees. If you have over $1 million in entry fees, you can't play any cash games and smaller fields under $5.
Yeah.
But you can, and there's certain tournaments. What it is, you can't see them.
I don't know how it works exactly because we can't even the 20 max $3 entry can still get into, but the quarter arcade can't.
So it has to do with prize pools. So giant $3 tournaments, everyone is still able to go in, but like the quarter arcade or smaller $3, all that kind of stuff, a lot of people can't get into. And that is the only reason we always bring that up, is because there's a lot of people who are looking to say, I want to grind a little. Those games, take advantage of them while you can. It's a lot softer competition.
Sure is. All right, so Zeke most expensive. Gurley, I like the idea of that's more of a tournament pairing with Rams defense, which again we're going to get to. But Rams defense, my favorite defense of the week.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's going to be a good one. They're not a good defense, but they're a really good fantasy defense, and they're facing an elite fantasy opposing offense.
Give-er-upper.
Yeah.
Your boy.
Yeah, it's just those boys on that offensive line. Just holy shit, man.
What about Kamara?
I wasn't even prepared to go there yet. I was going to talk about the
Oh,
four. I was going to talk. I don't. I mean, I don't know. Kamara, I was going to ask you about, but he's fine. He's not. Kamara's a guy who's not going to project well. So, do you think he's going to be able to take one against, take one long distance against this Pittsburgh defense? Do you think that's in the script? Do you think that play is viable?
I do. And I don't know. I've been kind of. I think a lot of people. It's hard to gauge what's going on with the Saints. Their defense has been really good. Their offense has been objectively bad lately. This is a spot they're coming home. I think if they're going to get it, not that they need to get it together per se, but I would expect a much better showing in the dome, like a lot of people. And I think Kamara's at the center of that. I could see him having a big game here.
I think that makes sense. And a lot of what Pittsburgh has done well has been, on defense, has been stuff that confuses pass throwers more than it does, runners or the short passes. So I think there's going to be room for, they also blitz a fair amount, which that's trouble. Like blitzing against a Kamara screen pass is a recipe for a 60-yard gain.
Nuclear disaster.
Yep. Christian McCaffrey, are you interested at all?
Honestly, we're gonna, we have ownership on our site. I'm gonna check that out because if he's not gonna be popular, and I don't see many ways where that happens, I would have some interest. But if he's even remotely close to Zeke, no, I don't have a lot of interest there.
I think Zeke's going to be the most popular, but I do think McCaffrey will still carry some ownership because he's going to project well because he gets all of the goddamn work, and it's against Atlanta.
What do you think about it with this new QB?
I'm too scared to do it personally, but it's weird though because like Cam the last 3-4 weeks is
worse than
Taylor Heineken any worse than what Cam has been,
Old Dominion great right there, sure. I think. He's I don't know. I wouldn't fault anyone for saying, you know what, C-Mac's still going to get his 10 targets. He's going to get all the work. It's just, I think at 8-8 you can go, like I would much rather, Zeke is the obvious one. I'm with you. If I wanted to go against the grain, I would pay the $400 and go get Gurley. Like he's not going to be popular, and right. It's still Todd Gurley.
I think I like Gurley the best, or the second best of the very expensive running backs too. McCaffrey's a little sketchy. Saquon, obviously, can do a lot of great stuff, but it's a little rough. Like, the Indianapolis plays a lot of cover 2 defense, and for those of you, like, anyone that plays Madden, that's the one where they, like, have the 2 guys in the flat you can barely see, so when you try to hit the outlet pass to the running back, it's like, oh shit, there's a guy there. We'll see if that's a problem for Eli, but it does, like, it's gonna be tougher for him to just catch the passes that are where Saquon is standing 12 feet to the left or right of Eli, as it would be. He's going to have to go up a little bit and over the middle of the field because there are often going to be dudes hanging out right there in the flats.
A couple things I want to get to. Do you think, and this is a question we should get to, Mike just answered it, and it's a good question. Do you worry about guys, it's the time of the year where a lot of stuff comes into play about workload, with anyone in particular?
I have not looked too much into it. I think like the Saturday game, like Melvin Gordon is probably going to, but that's more because he's limited from injury. Resting guys for the playoffs, not so much.
Yeah, not yet because seeding is really up in the air. I'll say the one guy, Todd Gurley, is a little banged up, and I wouldn't think it's unreasonable for them to maybe try to lighten his workload a bit. And that's a risk you may have to take.
Yeah. It's advantageous though because there are no the Chiefs are the 1 seed right now, but the Chiefs are actually in a more dangerous position than the Patriots or the Texans are because Absolutely. The Chiefs could easily fall to the 5 seed. The Pats and Texans will not get the 1 seed, but they're going to get the 2 or the 3, and they're fighting each other to try to get that 2 seed. That's a big deal for them. That Texans game is big.
Oh, yeah. That's a wild. Yeah, no, it's true. Obviously, wrapping up your division is gigantic. It's like the Chiefs could get the 1 seed or be in the wild card. It's
yeah. And crazy. Then the same thing in the out west, or not out west. The NFC, NBA, gradually getting into NBA mode. No, the NFC, not the Western Conference, is, it's wild out there, too, because the Saints and Rams are like right there with each other. You know, you've got the Bears lurking. It's gonna be a wild finish. So there's no real incentive. Like all these teams all need these games, except
Definitely.
for the really shitty ones. But
Working
speaking of
down,
really shitty ones, Jamal Williams against
dear God, where is he?
5,400.
So that's an interesting. I'm glad you brought him up because my first thought, and I think a lot of people, or if you don't want to play luck, Marlon Mack is right there, playing well, and I think I lean personally with Marlon Mack. I like the Colts, in this spot. Jamal Williams, man, that guy.
Yeah, but he should get all the chances this week. I don't know. There's no more Ty Montgomery. Aaron Jones is out.
The workload, yeah. I mean,
that's been the problem with him. He's never had the workload. Like, he makes a lot of. I mean, I don't care about this, but like running backs are running backs. It's about the workload. I was gonna say I've seen him make some plays, but whatever. It's like if he's gonna get all the workload for an Aaron Rodgers led offense, let's do this.
No, I see what you're saying there, and obviously he's shown he can catch the ball, which is half the battle. It's not like you need him to score per se. I do think, again, Marlon Mack has turned into a legit solid target week in and week out. He was great last week. I do worry there's a little point chasing-esque, and he found the end zone twice. That's what did it. But he's shown this year he's got some real upside. Not going to go there and cash or anything, but I may sprinkle him in just because Colts are going to get there. So I expect they have to win this game, and this is not how their season's going to end. So someone on the Colts is going to get there, whether it's Luck and the receivers or Marlon Mack.
Interesting. Yeah, I hadn't thought about him a ton, but yeah, he's had some big games lately. Quentin Nelson, like any other year, if it wasn't for Baker Mayfield, Quentin Nelson would be probably the offensive rookie of the year. He's just
Colts have had a good
balling people. Their offensive line is good, and it's been a problem for them for 10 years.
Yeah. No, they've built quietly. Solid line. Even the defense, we've talked all year. They're not explosive. They're not flashy. They do what they do very well. And if you have a great team, you'll end up beating it. But if you don't, they don't beat themselves. And that's a lot of teams you can't say that about.
Anthony Costanzo, I know that guy. He went to Boston College because my cousin was the equipment manager of the Boston College football team when he was there. And that was like the one guy. He was like the only one that went pro. He was a first-round pick of the Colts. I don't know. 6-7 years ago. He's been in the league for a while, but he's been a good player, but they've been awful on the offensive line everywhere else, and it's coming together a little bit this year. So yeah, that's I'll have to dig into Marlon Mack a little more. Kind of interesting. I do like the idea of Jamal Williams though in like a Packers kind of onslaught. Let's talk about your boy Joe Mixon versus not even my boy, but a guy who I think is fine, Nick Chubb. Facing off.
Yeah, it's a battle of Joe Mixon finally got a price bump after Joe Mixon twice this year, in my opinion, has had the easiest spots. Like the only thing I've been all in on this year and gotten right is just Mixon calls because he's been great. But this is I think I have to lean with Chubb. To be honest, just they're at home. The game, the opposing defenses, like the Bengals defense. Yeah, last week it was not masked, but they were playing the Raiders at home, and that's just completely different.
Yep.
I don't mind going against the grain if you want to take some Mixon shares here, but to me, Kamara, Chubb, I have ahead of him as much as it would pain me.
I don't think Chubb's going to be significantly more popular than Mixon anyway, do you? Yeah.
No.
And here's the other thing. Chubb has started to get some passing work. So, I mean, I haven't projected for around 4 targets and Mixon for around 5 targets. So
they're very similar. Not even in how they play, but they both can contribute in the passing game. They both get plenty of work. And they both kind of have a gadgety, Duke and Gio. I see some similarities behind them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, Millie.
Wow. Dog's not happy about the Gio.
No. Nor is she happy. She knew I was going to start talking about Jalen Samuels, whose price tag has gotten up. Millie, you got to chill out. Thank you. His price tag has gotten up a little bit. And
You want
it's
me
a
to talk about the
tough run
Steelers?
defense. What?
No, I said if you want me to take over and start ranting about the Steelers, I can do that.
Well,
Um,
okay. The last two guys from me are Jalen Samuels and David Johnson. So I'm going to chill her out. Take it away.
okay. Well, I'll just say this. I don't know what's Connor's status is. We have to see that, obviously, with the Steelers. Yeah, it's a tough spot. Someone on that backfield is going to get work. David Johnson is what it is. They're going to be behind. 6,200 is pretty damn good. So put them in the pool.
They have
For
no
me,
one
it's
that
just going
can
to be
cover.
taking one of those guys at the top and then working kind of, down where I can allocate the salary into that mid range. I'm looking at chat. I see what did see a real play without Cam? Yeah, but it's a lot more dicey. In my opinion, I think Andrew's with me.
The
But
Rams
yeah,
have no one over the middle of the field too. That's their trouble spot, is the second level of the middle of the field, which in theory is where David Johnson goes to work.
what about Ricky Seals Jones?
No. I
No,
mean, maybe. It's just
no, just no. Don't
last
do
week
it.
was like the finally the Ricky Seal Jones smash week because he scored six when everyone else scored 4.
Fire. All of this is very accurate. Yeah, like I said, I can tell every week. Not that you pick your narrative beforehand, but your teams develop a feel, and it feels like for me, week 16, running back is probably going to be where I'm kind of a little all over. There's guys in the mid range. There's expensive guys that I like. We didn't mention Elijah McGuire on the Jets, who I like.
Oh yeah.
I think he's in a fine spot. He's going to get plenty of work. And at home, like I said, I'm higher on the Jets. I think they scrap together a reasonable showing against the Packers.
Yep, that's fine. And I think that helps Aaron Rodgers. So
Absolutely. So do I. It's especially there's definitely a chance that I have like a Rodgers to Devontae with Elijah McGuire on the other side.
perfect segue to wide receiver because my favorite play there is Devontae Adams.
It's hard not to. Even against, brutal matchup, Bears, he still gets it done. The guy's
Of course.
obviously cash viable. He's all things viable. And, we got to see Julio. I don't know what the deal is there. He's the kind of guy that may get shut down because they're out. Obviously, DeAndre is going to play. What are your thoughts? I mean, I guess we'll jump right into it because I think we both agree on Devontae Adams. What are you doing with the monster receivers in the Saints Steelers game?
I think it's a Juju week, and that's been my dude. That's been the guy I've like really consistently gotten right this year. So he'll play more in the slot, which is the one sort of hole in the Saints defense. He'll run. Antonio Brown will too. They'll move around, so each of them will run some routes against Apple. I haven't read anything about it yet, but I don't imagine they just send Lattimore all over the field to cover Antonio Brown. Seems pretty unlikely. I think they may have done that before. He has shadowed here and there, but I don't think it's been much this year. But I just think Juju's got the softer spot here. And no Michael Thomas. I just can't, why is he still that expensive? I played him a lot last year because he was always 7,500 when all the other studs were 8,500, and it's like, oh, he's getting almost as much work. This year, the passing volume on the Saints in general is way, way down, and he's way more expensive. So I haven't been doing it.
No, I think that's well said. I will say, just to circle back slightly, Juju got hurt in practice, and he did not practice again today. So there's a legit chance that we have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah,
that
worth
came out of
monitoring,
nowhere.
and obviously if that's like a big deal, but I do like Juju.
No, I definitely, but it says groin wasn't in uniform and didn't practice. Not an encouraging sign for Juju. Blah, blah, blah. Obviously, if he's even remotely close to playing, he's going to play because they need this game desperately.
Isn't the dome good for your groin? Have healing powers?
So that's what they tell me. Yeah, I don't know. And then there's a small part of me that wants to go to Thielen. Do you see any incentive to do that?
Not on his own, but I think I like some Viking stacks.
Okay, that's fair. Fair enough. Say no more. Working down. don't need to mention, T.Y. Hilton at home, pairing him up with Luck is very obvious. I will be doing that.
He will probably be the most popular wide receiver, right?
I think that's a fair guess, yeah. And
one guy we skipped, though, the one monster stud that I think is totally in play, I don't think he'll be crazy popular, DeAndre Hopkins. And I like the Eagles in this game, but I think it sets up well for DeAndre Hopkins. I'm interested in if you feel the same way.
I don't know. He was, we saw him, too bad he was 80% owned on Saturday, just absolutely dismantle the Jets. I can get down with that. Yeah. I mean, honestly, Devontae Adams was just like, he was so appealing up there. And then I started to work down. Maybe DeAndre Hopkins goes a little overlooked. Obviously, in tournaments, you can go there in cash. I would just play Devontae Adams, to be honest, if I have the money.
Yep, I prefer Devontae, but
Okay. No, we've seen, the Texans, the problems when Hopkins hasn't had a big game, it's been more so that the Texans haven't needed him to have a big game. There's been very few games where he's actually struggled, and that's something to take note of.
And Deshaun Watson, there are no deep threats now, so it's gonna have to be shorter stuff. And the Texans have, this is the big thing for me, is that the Texans have a horrendous offensive line, and the Eagles have an unbelievable defensive line. They get after the quarterback. Like, they're going to get to Deshaun Watson a lot. And DeAndre Hopkins against a guy who was playing for Peabody State last year, I think, or whoever. Like, the Eagles secondary obviously is really trash. So unless they're and you can't just like, it's not like you immediately just like put two guys on someone, like they can send help there, but I think Watson's going to have to get rid of the ball pretty fast. And it's just like, he can just throw it up for 10-yard things to DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins has he's like as good as like at the sort of catch radius thing as like AJ Green was in his prime. AJ Green I guess is still in his prime, but like AJ Green was like the guy for sort of catch radius for the last 5 years, and it's DeAndre Hopkins now. So he can just get those sort of short targets, but I think he'll get, I think he could get 15 of them.
No argument. Yeah, I mean, he's unbelievable, and he truly has taken over. The catches he makes are unique, pretty much.
And it's more about like not even the catches, like he makes some spectacular ones, but it's more about like he can catch a ball that's not thrown well, like that's far. He can get to a lot of, he just has the big hands, long arms. Like he's really good.
Working down,
which he needed to be because he's not much of an athlete. Continue.
Wow,
he's not fast or particularly.
No,
strong.
It's true. You don't need to be though when you can do that.
No.
Allen Robinson, if you want to be, again, I like Trubisky. I could see that being a very different type of pairing. Niners defense, I'm like I said, I've been betting the Niners. They looked great last week. I think they're going to play well, but the Bears can move the ball on that defense, no problem. And it hasn't been, we've seen the Bears play well, but it hasn't been that offense lately. It wasn't that long ago where Trubisky was just, those games were in the 40s. Obviously, the Patriot game was ridiculous. So I think that's a sneaky pairing in the mid-range.
Yep. Patty Wacker says, Houston getting sacked a ton. Yeah, he is going to get just so many pressures on him this year. The guy, Fletcher Cox, is like a super underrated player too. He's
amazing.
Say what? Yeah,
he's amazing. Yeah, so good.
He's just like, unfortunately, like he plays the same position as Aaron Donald, and he would be the second best guy. He would be like, if Aaron Donald were just gone, Fletcher Cox would be by far the best in the league at his position. But like Aaron Donald is far better than Fletcher Cox. It's just like that's how good Aaron Donald is. But then you've got, it's just like here's Cox, here's Donald, here's Cox, and then like here's everybody else. Yeah, he's very, very good, and they have plenty of other dudes there too. Sheldon Richardson, or not Sheldon, he went to Minnesota, but Michael Bennett showed up there. Like they've just got I don't know, dudes on dudes on dudes.
That's gonna be a fascinating game.
Yeah, I think it will be. Do you like the Eagles in it, macro level?
Yeah, I think I like the under personally. I think it's a pretty low scoring, grind it out. Yeah, like if I had to make a score prediction, I'd say like 20.
This is, you know what? I could have taken like my response to, do you like X in this game? I could just have a recording of you being like, yeah, I like the under. Think it's going to be a grinded out game.
Yeah, why not? All those games, those are my type of games.
Yeah.
You can't say that about the Saints game, so I got to get it in somewhere.
I don't know. I like the under in that game a little bit. Think it might grind
Yeah,
out.
just, maybe they're methodical and they churn that offense.
I mean, the Saints have been in some grinded out games lately. You called one of them. You called Saints Cowboys to be grinded out.
Yeah, there you go. Victory lap. Who else do you like? Anyone, before we move on, in terms of value at receiver, do you see anyone down there?
I mean,
I got one.
The Russell Shepard, not Russell, the bad Shepard, Sterling Shepard social experiment. Yeah. Any interest at all?
No. That social experiment is over. It's just not. It's not happening because
they need Odell. It's like it's just so tough. It's like, okay, the target volume should be there. It's going to be there. He should be able to get it done somehow. He hasn't so far. I just worry that that's a little game log bias. Like, he's getting the action, so like he can't.
I think you're right.
Bad.
I might allocate some shares there because when you're not popular and you're getting massive volume relative to your price, that's pretty damn good. Now, if Sterling Shepard finds a way to really, it doesn't seem to be working. The ceiling's not there. Robbie Anderson's the guy I was thinking of.
Me too. He's going to be really popular too, I think.
That's, and that is what it is. I'm not, if the ownership does creep up, then you gotta look, because Robbie Anderson is still a guy who's very volatile.
Yes.
The Jets time and time again, like a Nunwa early, a lot of guys, and then they come crashing down.
Robbie Anderson is Kenny Stills last week.
Yep.
Which brings me to Kenny Stills this week, who's not going to be popular because he's facing the Jags. Still a very respectable defense. Got some real talent there, but it's Kenny Stills. He's super fast. He's 4,100. He's been priced, not that he ever got up in price, but against a normal team, he would have gotten up to 48, 49 after what he did last week. He's still at 41. That's cheap enough that one bomb gets him there. And
I like him a lot more than last week. I was I've stacked the Vikings to the nth degree, but I didn't run it back with Stills. Mm-hmm. I really didn't like that spot. This is a much better spot to jump on. The Jaguars, they lost to the Redskins. That's just.
I saw that.
Someone asked in chat, I think the Redskins can hang in terms of 10 points with the Titans. I talked about that on the show this morning. Check it out if you haven't. It was actually a real fun time.
I like the under in that game. I think it's going to be a grinded. Actually, the under is like 37, so I'm not sure I like it, but it is going to be a grinded out game for sure.
That could be a legit like 10-6.
Yeah,
it's ugly.
I'm with you there. Other than that, that's pretty much it for me for receiver. I do like I'll just say this in each section. I do like some Viking stacks and some Ram stacks. So pepper in the wide receivers there. But
what about, I got to ask you about this guy because you seem to bring him up often because he's really fast. Do you have any John Ross interest?
Oh, geez.
Sub 4K, not going to be popular.
I should. You know what the problem was for me is I really bid on him. Was it last week against Oakland? Or was that 2 weeks ago? Yeah, last week.
No, that was last week.
Yeah, I had 35, 40. I had 35%. Just in on the DraftKings screen of unique lineups. I also played him in a lot of high stakes lineups, so he just really killed me. That's definitely recency bias, but Oakland just seemed like the spot for a guy that fast, because guys that fast have done that against Oakland over and over and over again this year.
It might be part. I think a part of it's Driscoll.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can truly connect.
Yep.
They need to get his speed in the slot, get him in space. We talk about this with Odell, and this guy, Odell, but the concept of half the plays that Odell makes that are 80-yard touchdowns are him catching a 6-yard slant and just running.
Yep.
They got to get John Ross the ball in space because him just vertical routes, I don't know if that's really going to work.
Yeah, Driscoll's probably not good enough of a deep ball thrower. And to be honest, I have not gone to watch any Bengals action other than just grinding them on red zone. So I've probably seen 8 Jeff Driscoll throws. So not exactly an authority, but
it's not good.
No, Nothing I'm interested in. Speaking of fast guys on the Giants that could take a slant for a long one, let's transfer over to tight end. Talk about Evan Engram. Your boy.
I truly thought that not we, just society in general, like established that, like, all right, Evan Ingram sucks. Like, we don't have to worry about him.
No, sir.
Now he's back.
Yeah.
This is what he should have been doing when I was playing him at like 0.1%. If you don't want to play Sterling Shepard, you can go there. But the more I talk about this,
so you're
I
gonna
feel
make
like
a group that says play at least one of Sterling Shepard or Evan Engram for your
and then they just self-exclude you on principle. You can go there. Like I said, the Giants, I think they play catch up. Somebody, obviously Saquon's going to do the heavy lifting, but you could go to Ingram, you could go to Sterling Shepard. And tight end, even though a lot of the good guys are on there, it's still just a weak position. Like when you have Travis Kelce, the whole thing is messed up.
Yeah. No, great point. Like Michael Sine, our boy, John Ross' greatest career accomplishment will be the 40. I wouldn't be surprised. It's very
He
low.
could have won an island. Wrong shoes.
Yeah. My argument with that is we've seen other guys, Tyreek Hill, that are not particularly talented that have turned unbelievable speed into being just like ridiculous weapons. So it's
Darius Hayward back. Your boy.
That guy will catch like an 80-yard touchdown pass a year, though. Like,
he was so good in college. So good.
I bet. You know who loved him in college? The dead guy. Al Davis. I was like, Al Michaels? Nope, that's not it.
Nope. Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at this. Obviously, Ebron is another natural pairing with Luck. I got Trey Burton right last week a little. I thought he could come back, that Sheehan, whatever his name is, had been stealing some. Trey Burton is still a reasonable red zone look. And again, I like Trubisky, so these guys are getting naturally elevated based on that concept.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Njoku for Baker.
I like Njoku because I like Baker. I like Jimmy Graham a little bit. Like, tight end is basically going to be like a who's my quarterback in this tournament lineup thing. I think in cash, it's like pay up for Kittle or just dumpster dive with like CJ Uzoma or something awful like that.
Chris Herndon. I might play him in cash. That guy's pretty solid.
He's on the list.
Is Ricky Seals-Jones on your list?
No, first time all year. Took him off finally. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, Hooper is banged up. I wanted to. That's a team. I know we're going position by position, but I just saw in chat and it dawned on me. I wanted to target the Falcons in this spot, but I truly have no idea where they're at. Like, I don't know if Julio's going to play. Maybe they get some younger guys some reps. Is Hooper going to play? It's just a tough spot on the whole for them.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't really know what to do with the Falcons this week. I feel like it's almost like I finally got paid off for Tevin Coleman last week. It's like, so I only lost like 300% playing him.
No moss.
Yeah, I feel like I'm done. Okay. Yeah, I think Ebron's fine. Is Ebron going to be the most popular, like in cash, or I don't know?
I would think so. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be him or Kittle. Ertz, what do you think about Ertz? I know he's the other top end guy.
Yeah,
it's a much tougher spot. It's the whole Foles situation. I don't know exactly what to make of that. I was stunned, like most people. I didn't think they had a chance in hell against the Rams. If you do think the Eagles win this game, I can't fault you for going Ertz.
Yep. El Cunado, great point. Gerald Everett, 14 targets past 2 weeks. That's a guy I've quietly liked. I played him a fair amount over the years, over the year. Got into him. There was that one showdown slate where he went nuts. That's like how I started to like him. Well, what are you laughing at?
The best comment in chat all day is from Mateo. Why do I need to drink bottled water at home? Wasteful. Yeah, you're not wrong, but I do fill up the same bottle, so I'm only.
Yeah, I saw that too. I didn't want to. I sort of laughed.
No, that's a phenomenal comment. I like that.
It's true. All right.
I live in Flint. Um, what can I say? I think Foles throws to Ertz at a lower frequency than Wentz. I believe that's true. It's definitely a bump down for Ertz. There's no doubt in my mind, but he's still. It's tough. Golden Tate's there as well. It's kind of a dicey situation.
Yeah, and I don't know. Yeah, it's a tough one. Houston's a very good run defense too, so like Ertz may have to stay in and block a little bit more. They've just got a good defensive line. It's not as much of a spot. I think he is an interesting guy for tournament. If he's going to be 2% owned for some reason, it's like, yeah, all right, now I'm interested. But in a vacuum, I don't think so as much. You? Not so much either.
Nah. Nope. Yeah, I'm just looking through tight end. It's just I would love to reach for someone because I think you can be aggressive there, but there's not that much like everything, it's a balance. Like reaching for some guy just to do it is just stupid.
I really like that Gerald Everett call. I think I'm going to do something.
That's a sharp call. Yeah, I mean, that's a guy, to tell you the truth, I overlooked him, wasn't even considering him, and now I'll definitely, take a second look at him. And the Rams, Arizona, obviously, not the best team we've ever seen.
No, they are not. Great segue. Man, we're killing the segues today. Let's go to defense.
On point.
LA Rams, smash spot. Worst offensive line I've ever seen in my entire life. Josh Rosen, second best rookie QB. Can't show it right now. I don't know. It's pressure. They're going to double team Aaron Donald, and it might not even matter.
No, yeah, I don't think it will. That's another one. That's not where I thought you were going to go. I certainly see it. I don't. Do you think they're going to be the overwhelming for cash?
I don't know. No, I don't think they'll be overwhelming because they're 3,200. So I think there are reasonable plays that you can make that are 2,500. So I think people will go there first.
Okay, that was Dallas for me was the team
that's who I was thinking would be the most popular cash team. But so we're gonna get Dak, Zeke, Dallas as the chalk in cash. What a week to play! If that's true, and it's possibly true, what a week to play. Take your cash. If you don't want to play all three of those guys, take your cash team, put it in triple ups, quintuple ups, boosters. Don't just play 50-50s and head-to-heads, because there's a real chance you get destroyed and have a 10th percentile cash lineup. But if some of those things go wrong, there's a very good chance that happens. My point is more, it's a tougher. That makes it when players are all in on one team in cash settings, it makes it very tough to shoot for that 65th percentile team that you're looking for to get paid off.
And I'll take a different, and this is, it's a situational thing, but my mind did go here. If that's the case, and I think it will be, if you want to be aggressive in single entry stuff, run a Bucks stack. If you want to play Jameis, I'm not saying do it if you don't like him. If you're going to have some Bucks exposure, there's no better spot to do it in a tournament where you're going to see a ton of cash lineups that have the Cowboys defense.
Right.
And I love the Cowboys defense this week. I love Zeke. But I'll say this, in single entry stuff where we've talked about most people, they throw their cash lineup in, you are going to have a reasonable quarterback because Jameis is in play.
He's projecting quite well. So, yeah, Jameis is totally in play.
If you run a Jameis, Mike Evans, Zeke, and you hit that in stuff like that, you are going to be killing a ton of teams. Now, it is very possible that works and Dallas defense still gets 15 because Jameis threw a couple while getting there. But I do think when the overwhelming chalk like that, you can exploit it in those type of tournaments when you have viable plays on the other side.
I really like the Eagles defense too. I played them a ton this year. I play against Deshaun Watson a fair amount. I played Deshaun Watson a ton in tournaments too, but Eagles defense, they're 2,100.
That's the thing. I didn't even love them, but that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
2,100.
They're going to put him on. They're going to get pressure. I mean, how many times do you think he's going to drop back? Because they're going to get pressure on him 40, 45% of the time. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just a misprice. Now it's defense, so it doesn't work like, oh, they're just going to get there. Who knows? But man, that's a nice salary relief. Like if I make an aggressive team and I need a cheap defense, they're where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
The Dolphins, another mid range, just because the Jaguars are inept.
Yeah.
Like
The Jaguars
just
too. The
sure,
I mean, Ryan Tannehill sucks.
he's
Also,
not great.
both of those quarterbacks are 4,600, by the way. Any interest in like super bomb tournament plays on with Tannehill or Cody Kessler, Jaboy
No,
D.D. Westbrook?
no, none of that will be happening.
All right.
I just have no interest in that game.
Patriots also. That's kind of the last one for me. Mild interest
Why you gotta pick on Josh Allen?
because he fucking sucks, dude. Like, I mean, no, he's fine, but he's just like so prone to making mistakes. New England
Bad
has
is bad.
what?
Yeah, no, you're right. His bad is really bad.
Yeah, and New England's got a very good secondary. Their front seven is nothing special. So, you know,
I've never seen someone scrambling like that though.
yeah,
He's running
exactly.
all over.
I think there's a real chance that he runs for more than he passes for this week in terms of yardage.
Unfortunately, he may not. That may not say much.
I mean, I'm just saying, don't you see the like 110 yards passing, 120 yards rushing game in the cards? Like, I think that's very live.
Sure. I mean, yeah, it's been live. Buffalo, whatever. Buffalo's a good like. Their basketball team is undefeated. Their football team is in a bowl game. The Sabres are good. Quality
No,
stuff happened in Buffalo.
yeah, Rob Gronkowski. Didn't Khalil Mack went to Buffalo too, right?
All of this is very true.
Chris Hogan went to Buffalo for
I don't
post.
know about that
He went for post grad. His first couple of years playing for the
for the Bills.
yeah.
There you go. Yeah. What else do we got here? Anything else? Kalen Ballage at 3,700. God,
Yeah, I mean, he was getting a lot more work than the good one,
Drake.
Kenyon Drake.
That's a team. And again, Miami, I guess technically is fighting for some garbage, but like that's a guy I'm sure they want to get looks at.
Yeah.
He's young. He's explosive. Frank Gore is obviously now broken.
This is what the Dolphins do every year, by the way, because by this time, except for, like once every 5 years they make the playoffs. But the other times, by now they're out of it. And the like guy that was like a first round pick running back in season long leagues is like out of the rotation, and they're like working in some new young guy, whether it was, Jay Ajayi before, and then it was Drake. Like they just keep doing that. It's hilarious.
Yeah,
also part of the reason Kenny Stills was popping in the projections too was the report Devontae Parker is getting phased out, and that's intentional. So more work.
Those are teams, and again, you got to embrace a little of this, but there's a lot of unknown on what these teams even want to do. Like, you can chase some of it, but I don't know if going after a lot of guys with no consistent track record is the way to go. There's so much risk and there's not that much reward, even if you get it right.
Right.
But pick your spots. Like, if you like Ballage, I get it. He's very cheap. He could really see a favorable workload, but who would have thought that would be a guy?
It's true. Yeah, that does it for position by position. Do you want to talk about stacks or take a question? I think part of it was that we went a little early, but part of it was that we felt like there was a need for urgency. So we were pretty efficient this week.
Yeah, no, we were good. You would, if you want to just, I'm reading chat. You liked Burkhead a little.
Yeah, tournaments only. Obviously, Patriots are back to having a weird thing, but White's the pass catcher, Michelle's the runner, and then Burkhead does a little of everything. He's not going to project great because there's too much to split up there, but I think you make a great call that Brady is not going to be super popular. I think that means Burkhead and White will not be super popular either, and Burkhead and White together with Brady is going to be like that's some wild shit, and that stuff has worked before. And and that's the nice thing about something like that is if you want to, once you've done that, this is a big part of what we were talking about with Laffy last night. Once you've done that, then you can just don't worry about it. You can play optimal plays and like you don't have to be a psycho everywhere else. Versus our argument last night a little bit was like, hey, if I play Derrick Henry and the Titans defense, then I need to be like a psycho in 3 spots now.
That's we talk about this all the time. Knowing when, and it's tough, knowing when you've already made your stand is so huge because there are people who do that and then they do 3 other things and one of those doesn't work. And it's like, yeah, you already had it. You didn't need to get cute. Play who you want.
Some of the chalk is going to fail, but it's not all going to fail.
No, it's chalk for a reason.
Yeah,
like
those are the best plays. It's just
definitely. Marquette versus Buffalo tonight should be a good game. It's going to be a great game. That's college basketball. I can't wait to see it. I think Marquette does beat them, but I hope they don't. I like Buffalo a lot in life.
You get your bookie off of life support so you can call them.
You can attest this. I have been on fire.
Dude, I don't know anything about college, and I placed, based off of your recommendations and your article that is over here on Osmo.com, I placed a freaking 14 parlay and won it the other night. It's like, holy shit. I just got it.
It's, like all those things, they come crashing down as fast as they start, but I have been on real fire.
G Southern was a sweat. Quick aside, this also, because I'm sick human, like made me watch college basketball, which is listen, my favorite sport is the NBA. My least favorite thing like ever is watching just like awful basketball. And Georgia Southern versus the Bradley Braves, honestly, probably the worst game I've ever seen. At least like since I was in high school or whatever, I would occasionally watch a high school game, I guess, when I was there. But these teams are so bad. This isn't even like, to me watching, Kentucky versus Duke is just like, Jesus, these guys are bad. Like the athleticism is there, but they just don't have an offense or know how to play defense.
Low-level college basketball, you can find some stuff. And those teams, not that they're great, there's over 150 teams that are significantly worse. Like there's some games today that are like, whoosh.
I watched a particularly rough stretch too. There was about 8 minutes in the second half where I swear to you, there were more turnovers than shots taken. And it wasn't like, nice defensive plays or intercepted passes or anything. It was just like uncoordinated teenagers dribbling off of each other's feet out of bounds just over and over again. It was so weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's not you find some of that, especially early in the year. Like there's just some ugly games. But I kind of like that stuff. There's a ton of college basketball tonight, and we'll see. I got a Southern Miss tonight. Yeah, Southern Miss they were in that game against Kansas State. I don't know if you watched that, but if you did, I like them. They're a good team. We want to say, obviously, because we're not going to be on for a little while.
Yeah, we got about a week off just through, not that we're taking weeks off. We'll still be working every day. But show-wise, yeah, we're off till, I think, probably next Friday or maybe Thursday, because we'll do our Monday, Tuesday shows are Christmas Eve and Christmas, so off for those. No Wednesday show right now because there's no golf yet. That'll be back in 2 weeks.
You'll see me all Sunday, but obviously, first of all, we really do appreciate this. The streams have been really fun lately. It's because of you guys. Appreciate that. Do the giveaway. We didn't mention that today. It's, as we always say, like, subscribe, comment in the video, whatever you want after it ends, and you're eligible. It's an all-around month, is it not?
Yeah, now it's sport of your choice for a month. And you're still eligible for the grand prize, which Josh is going to announce on Christmas morning. Somebody's going to get a year-long subscription to this place, which is worth like $700.
Yeah, not bad. So that's all you got to do. Foles Jeffrey stack. I'm not going to Foles, but I don't mind Alshon as a one-off. Mm-hmm. ETSU. God, they're a shady team. They're actually pretty good. I watched them. I can't remember who it was from. I watched Eastern Tennessee State play the other day, though. They're not a bad team. I don't have the game in front of me, so I can't really speak to it. But, man, there's a lot of teams like that in college basketball. There's just so many teams.
I wonder if you could have given me, like, 4 guesses before. Like, ETSU. Like, I know I would have gotten Eastern. I probably would have gone Texas first.
Texas. That's what I figured. What would you have said second?
State University would be. I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's another SU that I would say instead. It's probably not. Eastern and State University are pretty much locked. So then it would just be picking T-State. So I think I'd probably get there in 4 guesses. But
where the hell is Eastern? I'm trying to pull that game up. Man, there's so many bad games today. It's a leprechaun. Oh, Furman plays. Undefeated Furman. Who would have thought that? Yo, they're playing Wyoming. It's in El Paso, neutral site. I don't know about all that.
Josh Allen walking through that door.
You know what? Wyoming's a team I like to play because it's that high altitude, but they're not in their gym. I think you'll be fine there. I have no real feel for the game. Pin did just ask in chat, did I miss Saturday night predictions and lineups? Absolutely not. We did a whole hour on it. So that pod will be up soon enough.
Yep.
Feel free to check it out.
Three Fellows Talking Football. If you search for YouTube, it'll be up. I don't know. It might be up by now, but if not, it will be up shortly on the awesemo.com YouTube channel, which you should check out, like, subscribe. Thank you.
Yeah, all that good stuff. Anything else before we get out of here?
I think that about does it. We did have a recent, in our Christmas movie conversation, we neglected to talk about Christmas Vacation. Have you seen that? Yeah.
Chevy Chase?
Yeah.
I've probably seen parts of it, but not all the way through.
I think you should watch it. It's very funny. And it came up kind of in the, like, because Laffy had that thing he was talking about, the best, like, sort of, R8, like, if you're like a dude, like a person with a bit of a funny sense of humor, or like you want something a little more vulgar. Christmas Vacation is shockingly vulgar. There's some, like, not shockingly, but there's some, like, pretty racy stuff in it. And it's very funny, and it's a good Christmas movie because Laffy was touting Bad Santa, which is a fine flick as well.
I've never seen that. Yeah, that's on the list.
Yep. Christmas Vacation. I checked one off last night that Josh recommended, which also in that, which is The Night Of. Or no, The Night Of is the HBO show.
That's the HBO show. My mind is now mush. Was that movie good?
The Night Before with Seth Rogen and Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Anthony Mackie. Gonna be honest, it wasn't a very good movie, but it's very funny. Like, I laughed a lot.
That's half the battle.
Yeah. Some very good belly laugh moments.
I discovered there was a Home Alone 3. Talk about bad.
Still Lost in New York?
No, it's not him. It's a different kid.
Yeah.
It's with the toy car. It's extremely bad, but man, did I watch it all the way through? I damn sure did.
Wow. I knew that existed. Have not checked it out.
Yeah, if I could Men in Black myself and just remove that part of my life, I probably would, but what's done is done.
That was trending on Twitter this morning. There's a new Men in Black trailer out.
What?
Yeah. It's coming back.
Okay. That's
great times, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Ben will get to say happy holidays and Merry Christmas to you on Sunday, but I won't. Actually, Laffy's going to say it for you then anyway. So let's say we can both say it. I hope everyone has a good time.
Yeah, everyone, safe travels, happy holidays. If you need us, hit us up on Twitter. Any suggestions, always welcome. And we hope to see you guys in Slack, obviously. That's the best way to stay in touch with us. And it's a lot of fun. We do appreciate all the support over the winter. It's been a good time.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. This has been From A to B, presented to you by awesemo.com, and we will check you all soon enough. Take care.